Hello dear students, today in this video I will teach you chapter 5 quality and I will explain pages 75 to 78. So I request all of you to take out your book and take out the chapter quality. Before you watch the video children, first you learn the meanings of some hard words. Distinction, difference or contrast. Blinking, shutting and opening of eyes quickly. Penetrating, force a way into. Murmur, make a low continuous sound. Guttural, harsh and grating. Flowery, elaborate. Given up, surrender. Circumstance, situation. Starved, suffer or die from hunger. Impression, opinion, effect on someone. Hardship, poverty. Pinched, pressed tightly between thumb and finger. Genuinely, truly. Peered, look with difficulty. Cracked, make a harsh and high sound. Lasted terribly, lasted very long. Contempt, hatred. Now explanation of quality from pages 75 to 78.
Once only, I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. At last, he said, "Those are not my boots." The tone was not one of anger, nor of sorrow, not even of contempt. But there was in it something quiet that froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot was not quite comfortable. "It hurts you there," he said. "Those big worms have no self-respect." And then, as if something had given way within him, he spoke long and bitterly. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. "They get it all," he said. "They get it by advertisement, not by work. They take it away from us, who loaf our boots. It comes to this. Presently, I have no work. Every year it gets less. You will see." And looking at his lined face, I saw things I'd never noticed before. Bitter things, and bitter struggle, and what a lot of grey hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. As best I could, I explained the circumstances of those ill-omened boots. But his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next few minutes, I ordered many pairs. They lasted longer than ever, and I was not able to go to him for nearly 2 years. It was many months before my next visit to his shop. This time, it appeared to be his elder brother, handling a piece of leather. "Well, Mr. Gessler," I said, "how are you?" He came close and peered at me. "I am pretty well," he said slowly. "But my elder brother is dead." And I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and worn. And never before I had heard him mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, "Oh, I am sorry." "Yes," he answered. "He was a good man. He made a good boot. But he is dead." and he touched the top of his head, where the hair had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother, to indicate, I suppose, the cause of his death. "Do you want any boots?" And he held up the leather in his hand. "It's a beautiful piece." I ordered several pairs. It was very long before they came, but they were better than ever. One simply could not wear them out. And soon after that, I went abroad. It was over a year before I was again in London. And the first shop I went to was my old friend's. I had left a man of 60. I came back to one of 75, pinched and worn, who genuinely this time did not at first know me. "Do you want any boots?" he said. "I can make them quickly. It is a select time." I answered, "Please, please, I want boots all around, every kind." I had given those boots up when one evening they came. One by one I tried them on. In shape and fit, in finish and quality of leather, they were the best he had ever made. I flew downstairs, wrote a check, and posted it at once with my own hand. A week later, passing the little street, I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly the new boots fitted. But when I came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. I went in very much disturbed. In the shop, there was a young man with an English face. "Mr. Gessler in?" I said. "No, sir," he said. "No, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. We have taken the shop over." "Yes, yes," I said, "but Mr. Gessler—" "Oh," he answered, "dead." "Dead? But I only received these boots from him last Wednesday week." "Ah," he said. "Poor old man, starved himself. Slow starvation, the doctor called it. You see, he went to work in such a way. Would keep the shop on, wouldn't have a soul touch his boots except himself. When he got an order, it took him such a time. People won't wait. He lost everybody. And there he'd sit, going on and on. I will say that for him, not a man in London made a better boot. But look at the competition. He never advertised. Would have the best leather too, and do it all himself. Well, there it is. What could you expect with his ideas? But starvation? That may be a bit flowery, as the saying is. But I know myself, he was sitting over his boots day and night to the very last, you see. I used to watch him, never gave himself time to eat, never had a penny in the house. All went in rent and leather. How he lived so long I don't know. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. Yes, I said, he made good boots.
Here is the summary of the chapter Quality. Quality is the story of a German shoemaker settled in London. His name was Mr. Gessler. He was a perfect artist. He used to make the boots of the narrator's father also. Gessler lived with his elder brother. The shop had no signboard. He made boots only on advance order, and they never failed to fit. His boots lasted long, so the narrator did not need to go to his shop very often. The customer going to Gessler sat on a wooden chair and waited. It was like going to some church. The narrator wanted a pair of Russian leather boots. Jessler showed his piece of gold brown leather. He promised to deliver the boots after a fortnight. He, it seemed, used to dream of boots. Once the narrator complained that his last pair of boots cracked. Jessler was shocked to hear it. He agreed to repair or replace them. On another occasion, the narrator entered Jessler's shop. He was wearing a pair of shoes bought at a large firm. Jessler told that those were not his boots. He put a finger on the place where the left boot was not comfortable. He spoke bitterly that big firm made poor quality boots. He also spoke about the hard times of his trade. His own business was going down. The narrator was so deeply moved that he ordered for many pairs. For 2 years he could not go to Jessler's shop. When he came to Jessler's shop next time, he came to know that Jessler's elder brother had died. He again ordered for many pairs of boots. He was also upset to see Mr. Jessler, who seemed to have grown older by 15 years, and he again ordered for many pairs of boots. Soon he went abroad. When he returned to his country after a year, he went to Jessler's shop to thank him for the new boots which he had parceled to him. But he found that the names of the shop was gone. It had been taken over by some Englishman. The poor fellow died of slow starvation. His business failed, for he took a long time to supply the order. He never made any advertisement. He used the best leather. He never gave himself time to eat. He was a character who made really good boots. Hope you all have understood the chapter quality. Thank you, children.